Hi, everyone. My name is Donna. My pronouns are he, him, and tonight I am running a game for the Gauntlet. The game is Monsterhearts 2 by Avery Alder. This is our second session playing Monsterhearts, well, our third session playing with these characters. We started playing Alice is Missing, and now things have gotten, even crazier with the messy lives of some teenage monsters. So let's get a quick intro from our players and their characters, and let's go in character keeper order, left to right. So Mark, that's you first.
Hi, I'm Mark. My pronouns are he, him, and I am playing Evan Holwell, pronouns he, him. Evan is the Infernal, and the Infernal has a demonic patron, someone who gets them things they want at an unspecified price. The Infernal plays with themes of temptation, addiction, and dependency. And Evan has a demon in his head, or a person in his head. It is Bria from Alice is Missing. When she was killed by Jack at the old barn, somehow her consciousness, or whatever she was, jumped into Evan's head and is now helping him guide his decisions and make his way through those rough teenage years in a really weird way.
And it's been real smooth so far, right? Jose.
Hi, everybody. My name's Jose, and my pronouns are he, him, and I'm playing Dakota Travis. Dakota was Alice's best friend in the Alice is Missing game, and so now he's playing, or I'm playing through him, the Mortal playbook, which is just a regular person, just a mortal who gets kind of obsessed with a particular lover. In this case, it's Jack Briarwood, Alice's brother, who he's chosen for his current true love. Yeah, I'll stop there.
Yeah, and I am playing Jack Briarwood, the current, we'll see if it's like a love interest or like new candidate for best friend. I'm still uncertain, like what I am to Dakota. I am playing the wolf. I'm Alice's brother, and I've just ever since the first session, I've been suspicious of Evan. I thought that he was like part of a cult with what's her face, but I think I've mostly just been proven right on the record of like the clock is like a broken clock is right every like twice a day. Like it just ended up being that that he's possessed now by the spirit of what's her face, Bria. Yes. So
Thanks, Stephen. I wasn't sure if you were purposefully forgetting Bria's name there just by completely cold shouldering her what's her face. Cool. And lastly, Max. Oh, you're muted.
I am Max. My pronouns are they, them, and I am playing Julia North. Pronouns she, her. Julia is the witch, and she lives in the woods, has no known family, and she was Alice's secret lover. They had trysts in the woods, and she is, I've chosen to switch from the sort of seductive, mysterious stat to the more seemingly natural to her, what's the word? I want to say bitchy, but yeah, that seems to be a little more the direction she wants to go, is kind of, she's guarded and calculating and patient and
Calculating and venomous.
Venomous, there you go, venomous. And she's kind of watching everyone, suspicious of everyone. Yeah, but she does have some affection for Jack. as Alice's brother, and they connected earlier in Alice is Missing. And I think that it's sort of like grief bonding, maybe, with Jack. And I don't know, we'll see where that goes. I think that's it.
Yeah, great. So I guess based on our last session, the next major event on the calendar is a party. The party is being hosted by Maria, who is the shiny and new rich girl in town, who I guess there's a turf war brewing between her and Dakota over who Jack might like better. Yeah, so let's cut to that. It's Friday night. I think we established that her father is like the new manager of the kind of major employer, a factory or something in town. So yeah, I think her house is something that matches that grandiosity or that kind of, grandee landowner employer in the town. So who I guess let's ask some kind of questions about the party. Yeah, so Evan, if you're arriving, you got a legit invite. How early are you arriving to this party?
Oh, not early. Definitely. So I think that she said 8 o'clock. So 8:30 or 9 is more, I think, what Evan wants to do. He doesn't want to seem too eager to arrive there, even though he's got somebody telling him in his head constantly, we should be at the party now. He's trying to ignore it the best that he can.
Cool. And like what about this house, or the grounds of this house seem like really over the top or ostentatious and not at all in keeping with the kind of regular lives that most people live in Silent Falls?
It's the heated swimming pool in the backyard, and it's like got the full kind of like in pool lighting that people do. It's very it's a very elaborate area around the pool. There's even a little cabana, a little cabana house. It just doesn't fit in Silent Falls at all, but there it is.
Okay. And I can't remember if there was like snow described in our session of Alice is Missing, but
yes, there was, which makes it
which makes it even worse or better depending on how your outlook on life is. Yeah, and I guess you're wandering through. You get met and greeted. I don't know what the proper English for that is. Is there anything specific that you can feel Bria's attention kind of latch onto? Either a thing or a person.
I'm trying to remember if we established anything that I think Bria was like really, she wants Maria's power because there's something kind of supernaturally charming about her, I believe.
Yeah.
So she really wants Evan to be Maria adjacent and kind of monitor what she's up to, see like what are the things she likes to do. That sounded like a weird sentence, but see the things that she likes to do, see what her interests are as possible pathways to gaining access to her.
Okay. Cool. We'll circle back around to that, I'm sure. Dakota, how about you? How late are you arriving at this party?
I guess in the same time frame as Evan, you know, the 8:39 kind of time frame. Not too. He's not particularly late. And yeah, the thing that stands out for him in terms of the ostentatiousness of the house is it has like a rec room with a billiard table, which is way over the top. and Dakota actually likes to play billiards. His dad taught him how to play billiards at the local bar, and he's actually pretty good at it. So he's never seen a house with a billiard table in it, and so he's gravitated over there and is inviting people to play.
Okay, cool. And is Dakota like a good teacher, or you know, a good winner, or you know, what's how gracious is Dakota?
I think Dakota is actually a pretty affable kid, and so he is not a horrible winner. He's a good player, but he enjoys like taking people under his wing and teaching them how to play the game,
Okay.
and being good at something.
And, who is flirting with you as this game of billiards unfolds, and how does that make Dakota feel?
Let's see, who is flirting with Dakota? I want to say Megan, who's the breezy genius who tutors Evan. And I think she sits near, if I'm not mistaken, Dakota in the classroom. I'm not sure. Maybe not. But anyways, but she's the one who's there. And Evan says it should be Bay, but I already chose Megan. Gosh, I gotta keep track of the chat. Actually, I'm gonna switch to Bay since it was recommended. So Bay, okay, Bay's the kid we didn't talk about that much. Okay, so Bay came in, and I'm teaching Bay how to play, and I can't quite tell. Dakota can't quite tell whether Bay's flirting or not, but you know, with the whole teaching someone to play pool, like teaching them to hold the stick and everything, there's a whole lot of draping over one another kind of thing. So some of that is going on.
And I mean, what does Bay do specifically that makes you think that he is into Dakota?
He keeps asking for Dakota to help him with every shot, and to lean in and guide his stick with every shot. For every shot.
It's real subtle. Yeah,
it's real subtle. Yes, I really don't know how to do this. Oh, sure. I can help you with that, Bay. And so sometimes you're on the edge of the table, and Dakota is not. You were asking how he feels about it. He feels a little flattered, and that's happening.
Yeah, finally, someone is giving you attention back.
Someone's giving me the attention I deserve.
Okay, perfect. Jack, let's cut straight to you. How fashionably late or casual but not too casual is Jack in terms of arrival?
I mean, not at all. Like, I think Jack arrives on time, because like I think that really Jack doesn't get invited to parties that often. Or at least like doesn't go without like Alice explained to him how people work.
This is his first time without a protective younger sister
Yes.
guiding him in the ways of people and parties. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and maybe not the same question in terms of like the over the topness of this place, but like, is there something else about the grounds or the gardens that kind of draws at Jack's wilder instincts?
I think that there is like a big like redwood out on the grounds, and it's a little bit strange because it wasn't there. Like, I'm pretty certain it wasn't there before they moved in. And so like, what did they just like replant an entire redwood, or or what?
Yeah, I mean, that seems definitely a little bit over the top, but who knows, you know?
But there's definitely like it definitely has a feel to it. Like, it has a really wolf feel, I guess is how Jack would say it.
Okay. And who amongst your class do you find kind of just looking up at it as you arrive on the scene?
Oh, let's see here. Let's see. Sorry, just going over the names here. Let's say like, were you planning on like having Zoe turn up dead or something, Donna?
No, this is someone actually a lot. Oh, sorry. I have a note in here that we need to define a connection with Jack for Zoe, because when we figured out how you when we figured that you knew that she had been skipping out class, I forgot to ask like, how did you know that? So that's just a note to
Oh,
me.
okay. I mean, I think we've done that together before. Like the like cutting class to go to a gig in the city.
Yeah. Okay. So do you want this? You want to find Zoe kind of standing at the base of this tree, just looking up at us?
Oh man, you know what? Even I think that like I Jack does not have much in the way of musical skills. I was on the bass, but I think that like it was entirely like Zoe, Megan and I were all in a band together, and then there was that huge breakup, and it's just made it even more awkward for me.
Okay, yeah, great. You'll think of a band name later on, right? But
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So I guess we'll put Zoe there at the bottom of the tree, and she kind of just like staring up at it, kind of lost in thought, holding a is this the kind of party that'll have solo cups or real glasses? I think it'll be solo cups, right?
Yeah, you don't give kids the glasses.
No. So we'll cut back to the scene in a minute. I guess Julia again. Yeah, the way Maria had pitched the party was that her parents had a big social occasion to go to, and so free house or whatever. The classic. So for Julia, yeah, why don't you let us know like how late or on time you're arriving at the party, and maybe what strikes you about the estate as you arrive.
So I arrive also fashionably late, but I'm with Portia. We've come together, and as you know, we had kind of discussed a little bit earlier at school, and we arrived fashionably late, and I am immediately struck by all the dynamics happening in front of me. Like I see Maria with her eye on Jack. I feel somewhat protective of Jack. I see Jack is like checking out Bay, but Bay is like coming on to Dakota and what is going on there. And Evan, I've recently confronted Evan. Like I've learned that there's something sinister going on between Evan and Bria, and I confronted Evan about it, and he kind of ran away. And so here is everybody in front of me, and I'm a little bit overwhelmed, honestly, but also very on guard. And another thing that I really notice is, I've never been to this house before, and in addition to this random redwood tree, which is not surrounded by other redwood trees, which is pretty odd for a redwood tree, there's also woods that I didn't know about, right? And I know the woods. And so all these woods and the trees, there's lots of like madrone trees and very gnarled like oak trees. And it's this weirdly dense forest of gnarly trees. And it's kind of dark and creepy. So what the hell with this like fancy ass house and these creepy woods and random trees. So there's a lot going on for Julia. She's just really taking it all in, and noticing also there are lots of places to hide. Not just these woods and the trees, but the house has all these nooks and crannies and columns and all kinds of places that people could hide. And who knows who is hiding behind all these places. So Julia's really on high alert right now, and just checking everything out.
Okay, perfect. I think maybe there's the kind of heated outdoor pool, right? And I think there's like the starting of a wood, which could be just for privacy, right? But then like it goes instantly into this primeval forest that you've described. Like 2 steps off the path and you're lost, right? Okay, cool. Yeah, and is there someone here you said you're being guarded and a little bit kind of suspicious of this and maybe a little bit paranoid with all these nooks and crannies, right? Is there someone here you're trying to avoid, or someone you don't want to talk to, or are you kind of being a little bit more open than that in your social engagements?
I don't really want to talk to Maria. And I see her with her eye on Jack. And so I am, while wanting to avoid her, I also want to protect Jack. And then I also see Evan like coming for Maria. So it's, yeah, there's a lot of energy, and I'm aware of Jack being kind of at the bottom of the totem pole of this energy somehow. And so I'm feeling protective.
Okay, cool. So where do we want to dive in? I mean, I think, but again, if you want to cut into someone's scene, that's great. You're at a party and there's going to be mixing, right? So let's see if we can get people together, if it makes sense. I think Jack at the back with Zoe at the tree is like a nice place to start, and then maybe we can roll up into Dakota and Bay or whoever. So yeah. Hey Jack. Wow. Did you see this before? I can't believe I missed this.
I think like Jack looks at it and says it's a tree. I mean, yeah, it's definitely a weird tree, I guess.
Okay. I get. Are we still friends, Jack? Because I don't know, like this whole band thing really caught me by surprise. So maybe we're not friends anymore.
No, we're friends. It's just I don't want to have to pick being friends with you and with Megan. I joined the band because I was friends with both of you, not because I can't do this like I don't know, like friend. Maybe I am the friend demilitarized zone. Maybe I'm that.
Oh, like you can be friends with me and Megan.
Yes, yeah.
Well, I guess you're a lot more like your sister than I thought. You think you can just, be friends with everyone, and like people don't care about that. I don't know.
I think I like kind of clench my fist a little bit and I say, and I'm actually just, yeah, look, Zoe, I know that you and Megan are going through a lot right now. And if you want to fucking throw shade at me, that's cool. But don't say a goddamn thing about Alice. And I think I'm shutting her down.
Yeah. So let's see a roll.
Yeah, let's go over to here.
The link is in the
yeah, I'm just going to the roll with me. And that's a 3. We have to roll poorly eventually.
Yeah, it's true. So let me think. Yeah, I think your words kind of hit home, right? Because she was trying to like make you choose sides, and like you said, throwing shade on Alice because of this aspect of her personality that we had called out, right? But when you call her on her shit, she just, like, this kind of brave face that she had on just kind of collapses, and she just crumples on the ground and starts sobbing. And she, like, says, I mean, she's kind of mumbling, right? But it's something like she misses Megan and she misses Alice, and you know, she's a mess.
I think that yeah, Jack is sort of like super awkward and confused for a moment because he didn't really know where this was going. And I think like after like looking around for a bit to just sort of see if somebody would like come to resolve this, just kind of like kneels down and like kind of like puts a hand on Zoe's shoulder. I know I know things haven't been good lately, Zoe. Look, I don't think if you miss Megan, you're not going to fix it by staring at a tree. even if it's not going to be but the two of you are together anymore, maybe if we talk with her tonight, we can all still be friends.
And I think, she kind of nods, and after a minute maybe starts to stand up. But yeah,
Jack is a little nod to himself because demilitarized zone friendship.
Sounds dangerous. Okay, so Dakota, why don't you give us an update between you and Bay playing billiards? I have to imagine, right, that this billiards room has like these humongous windows, plate glass windows that see the entire grounds.
Right. So maybe Dakota can see that Jax is arriving.
I mean, maybe Dakota can see Jack and Zoe out in the gardens.
Right. So what would Dakota do? But Dakota's kind of enjoying this connection right now with Bay, and he is. So they've played a couple of games, and some other people are beginning to come into the room, and Dakota's gonna say to Bay, "Hey, why don't we go outside and get some air? What do you think?"
Sure. Yeah. And he tosses the cue to one of the waiting classmates.
And Dakota takes him by the hand, and I don't think Dakota needs to do any turn on move because Bay's already flirting with Dakota, right?
Sure, but you probably want to turn him on anyway, you know.
Yeah, maybe I want to encourage him a little.
Yeah.
So I just give Dakota kind of gives him a look and a squeeze of the hand and said, "Hey, let's go outside." So I'll give it a shot at a roll. Let's see. Let me watch. So that's a 10.
There's a 10. So yeah, I guess in that case you get get a string on Bay,
Okay.
and I get to choose a reaction for them. So I mean, let's go outside and take some air. It's like sounds really obvious to Bay, right?
Is that too obvious?
So I think as soon as you get out from like the floodlights surrounding the house, you know, he pulls your hand and like draws you in. So I mean, I guess obviously if you want it, but I'm picking the I give myself to you option here.
Got it. So I think Dakota leans in for a kiss, and so they start kissing. But Dakota has arranged their destination so that Jack can see them from where he is.
I mean, I would have assumed.
Yeah.
And so what I'm picturing is Dakota making out with Bay and remembering that he's seen Jack look at Bay, kind of just caught Jack looking at Bay a number of times in a way that he hasn't been able to read exactly, but he knows that Jack has some kind of interest in Bay. And so I see him looking over Bay's shoulder in the direction of Jack, and I don't know if Jack sees him or not.
Okay. And I guess I didn't ask before, but now I think it's more pertinent, right? How do you get the same kind of smell of salty coldness that Jack did, or is this kind of completely under the radar for Dakota?
I think there is a coolness to Bay as Jack puts his arm around him as they're kissing, but I don't know that he has Jack's sharpened sense of smell to get the salt in his fragrance, in his aroma.
Okay. Yeah. So
So Dakota is of two minds here. Dakota is turned on, I think, by the attention of Bay, and also wanting to rope Jack in somehow, either get him jealous or get him turned on somehow just by the two of them being together.
Yeah, that's fair. For Julia, you're do I get the sense that, because how you described it before, you're kind of seeing this melodrama unfold from from some good vantage point?
Yeah. Well, my primary concern is about Jack right now. And I am seeing Jack watching Dakota and Bay. And I sense that Jack is feeling insecure in some way. Like, I know, go ahead, Jack.
I was actually wondering, just because I'm curious what, just if we can mechanize, I'm just curious of like kind of renouncing the decision making here. Does Dakota want to give a turn someone on move on me just to see if like how Jack is responding.
That would mechanize it, yeah.
If
Should I
that's
do
okay
that?
with you, then I was just
Yeah, I mean that is something that did occur to me, but so maybe when we, if that's okay with Julia, will we
Uh-huh.
finish this description and then cut back to that
Cool.
moment,
Okay.
or do you wanna see it play out?
No, it's okay. I was just checking in. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. So Julia, I guess you're with Portia, and you're exchanging notes, or are you just watching very kind of coldly and calculatingly?
I think that Portia wants a drink, and so she's going to go over and get some drinks for us. And I am left there watching Jack, and so I decide to actually go over and talk to Jack. I've noticed Jack having some weird interactions with Megan or Zoe, I mean, and I see that Jack and Dakota are exchanging glances or something's going on, and I'm just a little worried about Jack, knowing that Jack has not been invited to many parties, as he said.
Yeah.
I just want to check in. So
Sure. Okay. So I think if you're walking over, this is like the perfect time for Dakota making out with Bay to be like the thing that might turn on Jack, right?
mhm.
So I think this counts as attracting the attention or impressing your true love, right? Right, Dakota?
Yeah, I think so.
So
All right.
yeah,
I'll go ahead and roll
you're
that.
rolling a +3 to turn Jack on this time.
Ooh, wow. I'm glad I had the +3. I got a 7.
Okay. So in that case, you, I guess, Jack, you get to choose either to give Dakota a string or choose one of the reactions.
Yeah, I think that like as like Julia like comes up on this, I think like maybe you tap me on the back of my like I give like almost a little start, because like I was just not being aware for a moment, and I'm like, oh, I mean, Julia, how I didn't see you there. I was just looking for Megan. Have you and I kind of keep giving glances over at Dakota and Bay. Have you seen her?
No, I can't say I have. What's going on, Jack? Are you all right?
What yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
You sure? You seem a little flustered.
Okay, so you might not have noticed, but I don't know. I feel like there was for a while something going on between me and Bay. And this is you've noticed this. Everyone has noticed this, I think, is basically the presumption we've made at this point.
Yeah.
I just and now he's kissing Dakota, and I don't know. I'm just look, I don't know. I guess like Dakota's pretty nice looking as well. Like maybe I should just let Dakota have him. Maybe, I guess. Like, I don't know, is
Why
that the
does
right
there
word?
have to be any exclusivity? I mean, maybe you could have them both.
I think Jack blushes at that. I look, I don't know. I was probably just misreading things. I mean, clearly Bay likes Dakota. Dakota likes Bay. I think I should just like maybe I'm gonna try to be a good friend for them.
It looks to me like they're actually looking at you. Am I missing something here?
And I think Jack like blushes like even further and then says, I need to find Megan. And I go like walking off quickly.
Turn the awkward dial to 11, please.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Well, I'm sure that's a car crash that's gonna just keep on giving. So let's switch to Evan. Are you, I guess, still trying to get close to Maria, or have you been prompted to do some exploration or sneaking about?
That's a good question. I'm trying to think of a reason that I might go sneaking about. Am I picking up on, I think, is Evan picking up on anything from Maria that's giving anything away about, I mean, who's she, does she have a little group hanging around here specifically or anything along those lines?
You know, I think she's being an exceptionally good host. She's making sure everyone is having a drink. She's making sure everyone is getting, a fistful of nibbles or whatever it is. And seems to be just, effortlessly floating around the house and just like imposing herself on little knots of conversations that are broken out and moving on. So, I mean, I don't know whether that gives you the impression that like she's a shark going through her feeding grounds, or
not until you said it.
Okay, well, there you go.
So, but she doesn't have like a little entourage that's going with her as she does this.
I don't know that she does.
Okay.
Yeah, unless you want there to be an entourage.
No.
Okay.
I think that Evan is going to he's giving Bria what she wants here at the moment. So he's going to try to get an opportunity to kind of settle up to make contact with Maria when she's not very busy, like when she's moving between groups. And he's got a joint and he asks, hey, do you want to put our feet in the pool and share this?
Yeah, sounds wonderful, Evan. And I think she like, if you have a cup, empty or not, she fills it up, and if you don't, she like grabs you a cup. And it's proper liqueur, right? It's a decent measure of some really sweet schnapps or something like that.
Yes. That's so high school.
Yeah. I don't know if it's going to be cherry or orange, right? But it's one of those, completely.
It's peach.
Yeah, peach schnapps. Okay, perfect. That does not bring back memories.
So I think that while they are sitting at the, I think that Evan wants to give Bria what she wants right now because he was going to want something from her later. And so I think he's also trying to get a sense of kind of what Bria wants from Maria. I mean, what Bria wants from Maria that Evan can provide in some way.
Okay. So I guess I've got to answer a question, a mystery of the campaign already. So
If it's too early, or
no, that's fine. I mean, I have lots of questions myself. I just have to answer one of them.
yes.
Yeah. So I think you check in with Bria, and I think at the start she kind of plays coy. She doesn't want to answer that question because like telling you would give up like a little bit of her power in this situation, right? But you can't really get at something unless you know what it is. Evan Hallwell, how dare you paint me into a corner like this? Listen, the reason I was so interested in Alice and now Maria is that they know the way through the woods, which is where I gotta get.
So does Evan automatically interpret this to being like into the Fae realm? Is that kind of like
Sure, yeah, that makes perfect sense. And it also means Maria being a good host and making sure everyone has a drink is doubly sensible, right? Yeah. So like if you ask Bria that, she'll say, well, obviously, doofus, come on, Hallwell. Like, do I need to spell everything out for you? She's a Fae. Her family controlled this whole other world, this like miraculous, magnificent wood that's just sprung up here, which leads into the beyond, and that's where I need to get.
So Evan in his mind says, yeah, you may have noticed I'm not super smart, so you do have to spell everything out for me. Okay. And I don't know, I mean, I don't know how I can okay, I'll do what I can.
Don't give me that. You're gonna do your best, and it's gonna be good enough, Mr. Hotwell.
So he's kind of quiet as he's sitting drinking and smoking with Maria. And unless like she's talking a lot, I think they're both kind of sitting there silently, just kind of drinking and smoking, like that kind of silence that you get with someone that you're comfortable with, but it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, so I think maybe like she's just staring above the kind of the privacy screen of gnarly old trees, and like maybe she can see the top of the redwood, and beyond that the stars, which seem impossibly bright. And I don't know how much Evan knows about the constellations, but if he did, he would go, these stars are not right.
Whoa. Oh my gosh. Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna just let my brain sit with that for a little bit, if that's okay, Donna.
That is no problem. I'm looking at 1 after the hour. How about we take a break? We want to say 10 past. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so we're back, and let's cut from our pool scene with Evan and Maria and go back to the kind of main section in the garden near the redwood tree where Dakota has maybe drawn breath for making out with Bay, and Jack is being incredibly awkward alongside Julia. Jack, what do we think you're going to do now? Are you like looking to get out of here, or maybe confront Dakota, or what?
I mean, I guess on like the one hand, like Jack actually is invested in the like finding Megan to talk with her. At the same time, he's also like probably not like being super. I think maybe Jack has one. I think maybe Jack has on just making that move on myself has let himself wander a bit too deep into the woods at this point.
So you think that's alone or with Julia, or is this a metaphorical?
I mean, I
woods?
guess if Julia's following after me, but I was getting out of that complicated conversation with Julia.
Yeah. So what do you think, Julia? Jack is wandering off, kind of struggling with this internal conflict.
I think that I am actually following Jack, at least with my eyes.
Mhm.
But as I see Jack going closer to the woods, I actually get more worried. I don't want Jack to go deep in the woods. I know that there's something sinister in those woods, and I'm afraid for Jack. So
Okay.
I might call out to Jack. Jack, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for I didn't mean to push you so hard. I just am a little worried about you, and right now I really think you should actually not go deeper into these woods.
I mean, I'd like to throw it out there to you that you do have strings on me. So if you wanted to push that a little bit more and get something else out of me.
Yeah. So we haven't seen this yet, this mechanic. When you spend a string on someone, you choose one, you can tempt them to do what you want, you can give them a condition, or you can add +1 to your roll against them, or add 1 to the harm you deal them. I mean, this would certainly be a tempt them to do what you want. And if the person you're pulling strings on kind of agrees, they get an XP and you spent a string. So so yeah, if you want your words to have kind of power, you have some kind of in to their personality, you've got some leverage, right? So that's certainly something you can do.
Well, let me think through this. Okay, so I think what I want from Jack right now is I want Jack to be safe and stay the fuck out of the woods. And I also want Jack to have more self-confidence and go for approaching Dakota and Bay together.
Okay, yeah, that's something you can tempt me to do.
Yeah, I mean, if you
Okay.
point Jack towards Dakota and Bay, that will necessarily mean he's not going
Right.
into the woods right now. So that's a 2-for-1
I mean,
deal.
presuming that Dakota doesn't decide to just go like into the woods with us. Into the woods we go.
Yeah, that's the. I mean, how much is Dakota playing with everyone's minds here, right?
Right. Well, okay, so I guess I will spend the string. Let's try it. I will spend the string and I will say, Jack, look at those boys over there. Just look at them. Yes, they want each other, but I think they also want you. And sometimes you just have to take a risk to get what you want.
Yeah, I think that. Oh, Jack is.
You can resist anything except temptation,
Yeah,
right?
I know. I think that Jack is gonna like, okay, take a breath and says, oh, okay, I can do this, sure. And I think that, yeah, he's gonna take a breath and walk on over there. I don't know. I don't think he'll walk on over like if you are like immediately in the middle of like actually like locking face. That would be a little awkward, but like once that has ended a little bit.
We do need to come up for air eventually.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I'm wondering, Dakota, have you noticed anything else about Bay in these, you know, horny moments before Jack has come over to eat the Tui?
So I think what Dakota has noticed about Bay is he didn't smell the salt like Jack did, but after making out with him for a while and necking and stuff like that, he is struck by that Bay tastes like the bay, tastes like the sea, and maybe he even says that under his breath to Bay. He says, "Oh, you taste like the sea," and I'm not sure how Bay responds to that. Maybe he just kisses harder. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, I think you get like a feral grin, right, as he continues to kiss the hell out of you, right? And then I think he senses Jack approaching, and you know, kind of looks behind you to where Jack is. Yeah, I mean, nothing bad ever comes out of the sea, right? I mean,
no, nothing bad ever comes out of the sea. It's true.
Things with teeth.
What are those? What are those horse creatures like from folklore that like drag people down into
Kelpies?
Kelpies, that's it.
Kelpies, selkies,
that could be a thing too.
It's all teeth. Yeah.
Kelpie, Felky, yeah, it could be anything.
Yeah.
So Dakota definitely keeps his arm around Bay as Jack approaches, but he gives Jack a smile as Jack approaches.
Yeah, I think that Jack like is sort of like, he doesn't do this a lot, but I feel like he says, like I'm almost thinking of like, is Jack dorky enough that he'd like say I didn't think you'd be at this party, but even then he's like, then yeah, no, he is. He's like that, and then he says, well, obviously I did, since I knew you were invited, but and I'm glad you showed up. And I think that like I kind of blush a little bit, and I kind of scratch at my belly a little bit with one hand, and I think it's definitely because I'm wearing like a tank top. Like it definitely like lifts. I definitely like, I don't know how purposeful Jack is in that. It might just be one of those things that like he's just like it lifts up the tank top a little bit, like it exposes that little like brief glimpse between like belly and pant, between like shirt and pants.
Is this an attempt to turn on?
Yeah. I like, how does this, like, there's no, I'm actually surprised by this, because I'm thinking now in the second edition rules that there's no like guidelines as to how to like turn someone on in a polyamorous situation.
I mean, I think the way I would, this is the way I've done it before, is that you make one roll for the whole group you're trying to turn on, right?
Okay.
And on a 7 to 9, it might be you have to choose, right? I mean, that's an awkward choice, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think
there's a lot of hormones in the air.
there's enough to go around for everyone, right?
I like the idea of Jack in a crop top.
I don't think it's a crop top. I don't think Jack is confident enough to wear a crop top. It's still a tank top though, so it's pretty revealing.
I mean, when
We'll see.
when
Maybe
the
you can
werewolf
convince Jack.
stretches,
Maybe you can wear Jack to
I
wear
might,
the crop
I
top
might spend a
eventually.
string on Jack to get him into a crop top.
Okay, that's fair. That might work.
Not right away though.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see. So I have a +1 and you can spend strings for turning someone on to boost your roll, right? Do you have to do that before or after?
let me see. Just you spend one to add one to your roll against them. I don't know for sure if that is before or after.
I've always played after,
Okay.
with the one exception being the Infernals +2 special bargain thing.
Okay. Oh yeah, and that's a, oh, do I want this? I think I'm not gonna spend it here because I kind of want this to go like really, like this is like just proving like Julia, I should not trust Julia for like romantic advice. Because I got a 6 here.
Yeah. So I mean, I like, what does Bay do that makes you think that this is a terrible mistake? That's what I'm going to ask you.
Oh. Oh God, you know what? I think it's gonna be like Bay's like, oh, I'm so glad I'm so glad I finally caught you here, Jack. It's something that I've been meaning to ask for like a while. How do you get your hair like that? Like that has been entirely what this has all been about the entire time. And like there has been like Jack has just misread things entirely. Like I think is the worst way this could turn out.
Wow. This is obviously a Selkie or a Kelpie from the shallow end of the sea.
Well, I don't know, like you could just like, it's not that he only cares about appearance. It's just that like, that's been why he's been looking at me. That like, that's the pure reason, like just entirely like hair advice.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question, Stephen. You've taken the unstable move, which kind of speaks to me that you really want to go darkest self every so often.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's appropriate right now?
Oh yeah, I think like I like look down and say, right, I use hair gel and I kind of like am looking down and like backing away, and I can feel that change coming on. And I know Julia was trying to get me to go away from the woods, but I think I'm gonna have to escape a situation here to run into the woods to change.
Okay, cool.
Because I don't want to like murder everyone at the party.
Or show your skin.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Can I give a roll to escape a situation to see how badly this goes?
Yeah, I think if you roll to run away, you're essentially
that's
trying
the
to
move I was trying
to make get into the woods before your change is evident to everyone.
Yeah,
that seems like what's at stake here. And also we'll read your darkest self after the roll, because it's fun. The werewolves is fun.
Yeah. That's an 8.
Okay. So on a 7 to 9, you get away, but choose one.
Let's see. What are the choices again?
You run into something worse, you cause a big scene, or you leave something behind.
I kind of want to run into something worse, because I'm running into like the place I explicitly should not go.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I think before we get to what happens there, I'll just read out my darkest self.
Yeah.
I transform into a terrifying wolf creature. I crave power and dominance, and those are earned through bloodshed. If anyone attempts to stand your way, they must be brought down and made to bleed. You escape your darkest self when you wound someone you really care about, or the sun rises, whichever comes first.
Okay. So what's
And
the
go
last
ahead.
they see of Jack as you disappear into the woods? You know, are you like tearing the clothes off yourself as you feel the change, or what's?
I think that tank top I mentioned, I'm just like, I like not even tearing it off. I think I tear it like I think I properly tear it off. Like it is like torn off.
Okay, awesome.
I'm sure Dakota sees that if no one else.
Yeah, you were talking about spending a string to get him into it. I think you were entirely wrong there. You should have been spending a string to get him out of it. Okay, cool. Let's cut back to the pool. Evan and Maria. What's your? I mean, I think you have some time before the wolf howl rips through the night air, but let's see how much time you do get.
So I think that Evan decides that this is maybe a good opportunity, if he can, if possible, to get some of the pressure off himself from Bria and get Bria an in to Maria. So I think that he's going to try to turn her on. Let's see, reaction from below. So having not played this before, mechanically, how do I get to sex so that Evan can use his sex move?
Yeah, so like mechanically, there's nothing that forces anyone to have sex with your character. It's always like their choice whether that happens. But definitely turning someone on. I mean, for most NPCs, it's usually going to be like there's usually no good reason for an NPC not to give themselves to you when they turn you on, when you turn them on.
Okay.
Because they're just stolen cars.
Right. Okay, so let's see. So Evan has a string on Maria, so he could add +1 to his roll against them. Is that accurate?
Yeah, you could do that.
Or
I mean, like if you, yeah, I mean, you could do that, or you could like see, you could see, you know, what she wants or what you want from her, and spend a string to get that, right? So you can play it a few different ways.
okay.
Like Stephen says, when you're spending these like really powerful social mechanics on side characters, you know, you're probably going to get what you want, right?
Okay.
So yeah, there's a couple of different ways to do it.
I think that Evan is just kind of like moving closer. He's volatile. He tends toward volatile, so I think he's like kind of like being impetuous, moving in closer kind of rapidly, and trying to see if Maria will respond when he starts to see if she's interested in just becoming or just being romantically involved here at the moment.
So I think, you know, you're kind of unsubtle sidling up to her kind of gets her attention back from the stars that are wrong. Um, um, yeah, and I think she gives you a grin and kind of says, "I thought you'd never ask."
Okay. So I think that, yeah, so Evan's going to go ahead and, or do I need to do something mechanically then? Or is it just
Yeah,
happening in the
so
fiction?
I guess you have an option now to kind of close the deal. You can either roll to turn her on, or you could like pull a string you know, if you want to kind of cut to that.
I think that he's going to pull a string. I don't think he trusts, he knows he's not like, he knows he's not hot.
But you remember, you can give yourself a boost on the die
I
roll,
know,
right?
I know. But I think that I think it's in his best interest to go ahead and pull that string. And so I think that he will stand up at some point and hold out his hand to her. And if she takes his hand, he'll let her lead him someplace in the house.
So, like, are you saying something specific? I want to see, like, where's the kind of where's the leverage that we see the string on Maria coming from?
Yeah. Right. So let's see. Tempt them to do what you want. She said, "I thought you'd never ask." He has a string on her from turning her on previously when he got the invite.
Yeah.
He says, "Oh, I didn't think there was any other reason that you wanted me to be here," which actually sounds really brusque and cold, but there it is.
Well, you know, no one ever accused Evan of being charming, right?
Right.
Yeah, but I think, you know, I don't think she's gonna like bring you inside the house. I think she's gonna keep you in the pool. And I
Okay.
think like when that becomes evident to you, I think you kind of get a sense of everything kind of closing in on you, right? You like the the trees that are surrounding most of the pool, you know, kind of start to loom,
Okay.
and like, you know, who knows exactly what's going on, right? It's difficult to pay attention to much except for Maria in front of you.
Right.
Okay. So, why don't you read out the infernal sex move?
So when you have sex with someone, the dark power loses a string on you and gains a string on whoever you had sex with. So Bria will gain a string on Maria and lose one on me.
Okay, cool. And what does that, not that what does that look like, but what does that mean in the grand scheme of things?
Yeah, I think that
for you and Bria.
I think that this is like Bria wants Maria to take her through the woods. And this is giving, I think that Bria sees this as gaining an in with Maria in some way that she didn't have before, obviously, and starts to fulfill what she's looking for. And I'm assuming that Bria, it's a little hard to justify Bria giving up a string on me, but I guess that Bria sees it as a dark power who bargains as a trade-off.
Yeah, I mean, for that side of the equation, right, you're doing, you know, her bidding, right? So
Yeah.
So does that mean like Bria is just getting like an insight into what's going on with Maria and has leverage that way, or is that like, does Bria like get to whisper in Maria's head now?
I think she's probably going to make contact with Maria in some way. Although maybe she's too. Yeah, no, that's what happens.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess there's this like weird moment where you hear Bria like whispering through your mouth into Maria's ear, right?
Oh, gross.
Which makes you really comfortable, right?
Yes.
If the previously suggested polycool was something kind of that could be nice, this is not nice.
Oh
This
my
is definitely
gosh.
wrong. Okay, awesome. So I have a feeling that at just the right dramatic moment in that pool, you hear the howl of the wolf, right? So let's cut to Dakota and Julia. What are you doing when you see Jack's bare naked arse disappear into the woods?
I mean, I think keeping with like the level of the show, like the pans have to come off after I disappear behind the bushes.
I think Dakota's actually shocked that happened. He was expecting something very different, and so he turns to Bay and he says, "Jack's been going through a lot since Alice's death. I think I need to go make sure he's okay. I'll be back." And then I think Dakota tears off after Jack.
So yeah, I mean, I think Bay is like left there bereft, going like, "How about me? You need to look after me." Cool.
Could be.
And how about Julia?
Oh no. That's what Julia's thinking. Julia's everything that Julia was trying to help Jack avoid is now come to pass. She's not surprised that Jack started to turn and ran off. She's known that this would eventually reveal itself. So what does she do? I think maybe now she is seeing Dakota starting to go off in the woods, and now she's kind of like wondering what to do. I think her instinct is to try to stop Dakota from going into the woods. Wow, Julia is very controlling. Yeah, I don't like Dakota. Where the hell are you going?
I gotta find him.
I don't think that's a good idea right now. I think Jack might need to be alone for a minute.
You don't understand, Julia. You just don't understand.
I think it's not me who doesn't understand, Dakota.
We have a special bond. I was with him when he went out after Bria. I can bring him back. I can bring him back. And Dakota goes running.
Well, Julia's a little exasperated and knows that she can't really do much to stop Dakota, given that her only hexes are to prevent someone from lying and to see through their eyes. So I think Julia is a little bit powerless at the moment.
I mean, if you wanted to see through Jack's eyes to find what is happening with him.
Yeah, it would be a good way of knowing exactly where he was. Right?
That's a good idea. Well, so the ways for me to do that, what are the ways for me to do that? I either have to look at the person and speak in tongues, or
you can do a ritual.
Do a ritual
with the sympathetic token, right?
Okay, well, I do have a sympathetic token on Jack.
Yeah.
Is it? You think it's worth spending now?
Yeah, that's completely up to you, right? If you I guess how about we switch to Jack, see how much danger he is in, and then if you think you want to step in, then you
Okay,
pull the trigger on the ritual.
all right.
Okay. So, Jack, you're in your wolfen form, or what does Jack as a wolf look like in this darkest self?
Oh, let me think. I think like Wolf Jack is like big with like I think kind of dark black fur with a mane of slightly more brownish red fur around the neck.
Okay, cool. And yeah, what do let's source this from the table. Evan, as the one who's furthest away, I think maybe you get like a sense. Maybe there's statues at the sides or the corners of the pool that give you some hint as to like what is in those deep dark woods. Like what pick a something worse that will be found in the forest by Jack.
So I think the veil is very thin in the woods. And let me know if this is going too far. I think I'm torn between a couple of things here, I guess. One is there's bleed over from Fae, from Fairy, I guess. And either the something worse is Alice's ghost, maybe. Which was which was trying to get through the woods. So Alice's ghost would be like one thing. Possibly another thing would be something came through from that land that doesn't belong here. Like a fake creature of some type, like a red cap or something like that.
Yeah. Do we want to dial the drama to 11 with Alice's ghost, or have something a bit more quote unquote mundane, like a red cap or a phone or something like that? What do you think, Stephen?
I mean, I think Alice's ghost will fuck Jack up a ton. So
Yeah.
sure, let's go with that.
Okay, awesome. So yeah. So you're like barreling through these woods, just kind of maybe slowing down a little bit, right? And you smell something really familiar, right? And maybe it kind of cuts through enough that you can kind of recognize it as, obviously it can't be Alice, but someone like wearing Alice's clothes or with one of Alice's prized possessions. Someone who has maybe, in your mind at least, stolen from her.
Yeah, I think I think like my ears go flat, and I like am kind of go into like prowl stance, like, I guess. Like, I'm just kind of thinking of dogs like where their like tails stop wagging and they just go like really stiff and as they approach things that they're not sure of. Like I am coming up on this slowly, seeing what it is. Is this maybe, do you want me to like keep my cool, or do
Yeah.
we just want to narrate here?
Yeah, I think it's I mean, I think maybe when she turns around, keeping her cool is the
Okay,
way to
sure.
go, right? What is it like? This person is like holding something in their hand, or maybe wearing something that is like most definitely Alice's. Maybe something that you like gave to the funeral home to be buried.
I mean, I
with
think
her.
it's the camera, right?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so like she is standing awkwardly there, like with the camera up and like taking a photograph of something, or just fiddling with the knobs on it. And then like she turns around and like takes a photograph of you. The flash goes off, and then like in that split second, lowers the camera from her face. So yeah, now I think let's see Jack keep his cool.
Oh yeah, I think we hear Jack let out this kind of growl whine type noise.
What are you afraid of?
Oh, I mean, I'm afraid that she blames me for everything, rather than blaming Evan, which is obviously what Jack has decided to do. Oh, that's a 5. Actually, no, I actually did it too high, so that's not even a 5. That's another 3. Wait, is it a 3? Yeah, I think it's a 3. Yep.
Yeah, you rolled a 4 and you got a -1 code.
Yep.
So ouch. I mean, I think
So that's a
level up,
level at
right?
least.
Between strings and terrible rolls. So yeah, damn, that's harsh.
I mean, I can think of like well, go ahead. Let's see fictionally, what are you saying? And then I have an idea for
Okay.
Jack's response here.
Yeah, I mean, I think leaping to the worst possible conclusion is the way to go here, right? Exactly what you feared of is what she says to you. And Jack, why couldn't you stay in your skin and keep your nose out of it? I was doing fine till you showed up. And now look at me. And I think she lowers the camera even more. And I don't think we ever described how Bria had killed her. I think there was a knife involved or something.
Yeah, I think it was like, yeah, knife, yeah.
So like the wound on her like just kind of opens just like very instantaneously as soon as she mentions it.
I mean, I think that half in his mind, Jack is just refusing to accept what's going on. And I think with this like with this miss here, I think that like there's like half of me that thinks this is really her, and then half of me that thinks this is just some trick that someone is playing on me. And I pounce onto her and like go for the throat because I'm still in my darkest self as well.
Yeah. So I'm just checking our lines and veils. So we have nothing on gore or graphic injuries, thankfully, based on what we've already described. How about we just skip to Dakota, who finds you. So Dakota, why don't you describe like the state you find Jack and Alice's ghost in?
So yeah, I imagine Dakota stumbling through these dark woods and not knowing what's what. But then he hears the growls and the howl of Jack when Jack sees Alice, and he gets a direction. He starts running in that direction, and so he enters the clearing where they both are, and what he sees is Jack in his wolf form, on top of a figure where he seems to be tearing the throat out of the figure, and he just flashes back immediately on when he walked in on the death of Bria. And I think Dakota's pretty freaked out by it.
Yeah, I think I like turn on you at that point and like let out a big snarl. And I'm curious, like, is it like blood? Is it like something weirder or like darker than blood? Like, is it like this weird, like darker than blood, like thing that is dripping out of my maw?
Yeah, I mean, I think, it tastes like blood, but it tastes like sweeter than blood. And like when Dakota sees you turn on him, the blood is like, I don't know, like not visceral enough to be blood. It looks dark, and just like black water, like going down your coat, down your maw. It doesn't look like real blood at all to Dakota, but in his state, I'm not sure that is his chief concern. Dakota, like, I think in that moment when Jack like turns and gets off Alice, you can definitely see that it is her.
Still looks like her, yeah.
Yeah. And like she reaches a hand to you and like gurgles out your name.
Holy shit, do I need to keep my cool here? Or
let's cut back to Julia.
Oh my God.
Do you want to intervene in some way? What do you think?
You see, not like romantic advice, not the best, but not going into the woods advice, spot on.
Well, so I mean, am I still back at my decision about using a sympathetic token to cast a hex?
Yeah, so we can kind of, so we can rewind that a little bit, like have you see this unfold and then give you a chance to kind of intervene, right?
Okay. Yes, I would never have wanted to miss that. I am way too nosy to be able to live without knowing all of that just transpired. So yes, I imagine, let's see, I am wearing the jacket that I have from Jack, and as Jack has run off and now Dakota runs off after him, I take off the jacket. I draw a circle in the earth around me and I place the jacket underneath me, and the earth takes the jacket, swallows the jacket right up, and I am now in Jack's eyes and looking out from the wolf as the wolf is running into the woods. I see Alice, and it's painful. It's so painful for me to see Alice. It's, I missed her so much, and I'm kind of turned on and kind of scared at the same time, and very confused. Jack has maybe grumbled about how the jacket Alice stole from him became Julia's girlfriend's jacket once or twice in the past.
So how about we get you to make a roll for the hex first to see how well it goes. So you're going to roll with
Okay.
dark.
Okay, wait, how do I do this now? I'm here at the rolling thing.
Yeah, so click the normal d6 in the top row twice. In the section 1, add dice to your roll, and then in finishing touches, you can give it a name, and you can add +1, I think, for your dark, and then click on the roll button below.
And what am I calling this roll?
You can say magic or hex or whatever,
Okay.
whatever you want.
Hex the wolf.
Not to be confused with hunt the rabbit.
Wait, I'm +1.
+1, yeah.
+1.
So it gives you a 9.
Okay.
So on a 7 to 9, the hex works, but you get to choose one. The 3 options are: the casting does you 1 harm, so it's like exhausting or draining. The hex has weird side effects, or you trigger your darkest self.
Oh. Well, let's see, my darkest self. Yeah, I don't think I want to go into my darkest self, although it does seem likely that I would.
Yeah, so it's, I mean, harm is probably the easiest one to shrug off at this point, given that you haven't been hurt before. The side effects could be fun, who knows? And like you said, the darker self is much more high stakes.
I think I'll try the darkest self. I mean, I'm sorry, the side effects.
Okay. So the hex has weird side effects. So you're looking through Jack's eyes, and the hex also says that you fall asleep. I mean, how would you feel if you swapped bodies for the duration of the hex with Jack? So instead of just seeing through his eyes, you were like, you know, in his body. How does that sound, Stephen?
I mean, I'd like there still to be like some like Jack actually having done that that thing, as opposed to like just having it be kind of
yeah. Sure. Okay.
Well, could it be that we both experience having done the thing? Like, I don't displace your consciousness from your body, but I'm in your body too?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, so you get to feel this as well, not just looking at it, you get to feel exactly what Jack feels physically and emotionally in this kind of scene, right?
Do I feel what I feel also?
Yeah, I think you got like this dual line going through you right now, right?
Wow. Okay, well, I'm so angry and so turned on and so like primal. It's very primal, and it's very confusing. It's like Jack's feelings and my grief and Jack's grief and Jack's anger all at once. And I am gutting Alice with my mouth. and it's familiar, but also not. And it's very confusing and kind of enjoyable at the same time. I can't stop doing it.
And I think that I am going to turn over control of my body here for a moment to you, because I think that that's when Dakota shows up. And Dakota, he is getting in the way this moment, Julia. Trying to act like he always does. Always trying to control us, to control me. What do you do here, Julia?
um, well, I'm really busy with mauling Alice and my long lost secret love. And Dakota comes and I look up and see Dakota. And Dakota, what's the look you have on your face, Dakota?
Horror. And I think I fall to my knees.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna attack you in this wolf body. And I'm gonna start mauling you, actually.
Okay.
So I think that's a great place to take a break. Cut to commercial break.
Yeah, before we go to break, I have
yeah.
a question about, I was looking at moves and I was just looking at, like, based on my behavior up till now, the ghost projected blame, but modifying it a little bit, where when you've got the condition traumatized, you may act as though others had the condition at fault for my death. Like, could I change that to at fault for Alice's death?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you can, I guess, yeah, that makes sense to me, as like a custom twist on that. So yeah.
So you're saying that that ghost is actually Alice, and she has that.
No, I think that
No, I have
Jack
that
gets
move.
that ghost move, but instead of being the kind of small print on that is usually responsible for the ghost death, but here it's responsible for Alice's death. Yeah. So I think that makes perfect sense.
Cool. Okay.
Cool. Okay, so I have 5 past. So is 10 past enough of a break for people? Okay. Okay. So where were we? We were about to see Julia taking control of Jack's body to attack Dakota. And let's circle back to Evan. Maybe drying off on the side of the pool, though, hearing some strange noises, maybe the odd wolf howl or anguished howl of vengeance or trauma. I mean, I don't think Evan missed out on all the action. He got some action.
I guess it depends on how you look at it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bookkeeping question. So Evan used a string on Maria to tempt them to do what they wanted. So does Evan mark XP for that?
No. So you spent the string on Maria, right?
Yes.
So you just lose the string and get what you want.
Okay.
Right.
If somebody uses a string on me,
so if Maria had a string on Evan and spent a string, Evan would get the XP for doing it. Right.
Okay, got it. Very good. Right. So yeah, Evan's drying off by the pool. I think he lights another joint, and he's sharing it with Maria there by the side of the pool when they hear that howl. And I mean, I don't know how much Evan really knows about what's going on with other people's particular weirdness. So he turns to Maria and says, "Do you have wolves in those woods?" Which is kind of
And
double
yeah,
question.
and I think she kind of looks at you and like grins, you know, in a not altogether um kind of calming way. um and I think she just like picks up her glass with her like peach schnapps cocktail in it and like flashes some eyebrows and then like walks away and kind of looks back at you and says, and lions and tigers and bears.
Oh my gosh. So Evan watches her, I think, walk away, and then looks up into the woods, and he's wondering what's going on out there in the woods. But
Yeah, and I think if you like take a look, right, you're gonna see Julia's sleeping body in the middle of the grass in between the house and these woods, right, where she is, like she falls asleep to do the ritual, and now her spirit is kind of in Jack's body. So
interestingly enough, Evan wanted to speak with Julia. So since she's right there, he won't bother texting her. He's going to walk over, and he says, "Hey, Julia."
yeah, and I think like do you see like I don't know, Jack, what symbol was on the back of your biker jacket?
I don't think I had a biker jacket. I was wearing a tank top, right?
Oh, but the leather jacket that,
Oh, that Julia, right,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Oh man, I think that it wasn't like a biker jacket. I think it was like my when we were going to like going to like perform or like watch gigs in the city with Zoe. I think it has like oh I think it has like a like bleeding heart on it, like one of those. I don't know, it was just something, it was just an image I remember seeing on a patch in someone's like jacket once at a show, but they had like a bleeding realistic heart, like with like nails in it, like that's I think on the patch.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So I think like in the grass right beside where Julia's body is, you can see this symbol just kind of in the grass, like it's been burnt into it or something. And all of the kind of metal rivets from the leather jacket are just lying on the ground. And I think there's some like iron nails as well, like in the heart symbol as well. Like so, it's just like the leather of the jacket had just disappeared into the earth, leaving everything behind, and then like burning in this image into the grass.
That's bizarre. I think that Evan reaches down and he's kind of touching the grass where it's been burned, just kind of feeling it, and he pulls one of these nails out. He's looking at this iron nail, and he pockets it, and then he gives Julia a little kick, kind of a gentle kick in the thigh. He's like, "Hey, Julia, are you passed out, man?" He's starting to wonder if he should turn her on her side so she doesn't choke on her own, like if she's really drunk or something.
Yeah, yeah. So let's cut back to Julia, right? Because you're about to leap at Dakota when I think you kind of still have a connection with your body, and you feel like getting yourself getting kicked. Like, hey man, wake up. But yeah, you
Yeah.
should You should totally tear Dakota's throat out too. That'll make you feel better.
Well, I think that, there is still some confusion, and now Jack has left me with his body, given me control of his body. But I'm also inside Jack's eyes. So it's just a little confusing. I'm not sure where I begin, where Jack ends, and now I'm sort of split in this way. And then my own body back just at the edge of the woods. And so I do feel the kick, as I'm starting to maul Dakota. Dakota is screaming delightfully.
I feel like we should make a roll here to
Yeah,
see what
like-
happens to Dakota before
This is
we
like
describe.
small Dakota, So let's make a lash out physically roll for you, taking it out on Dakota.
Okay. Lash out.
Which is plus volatile.
Plus volatile, wait, and I am wait.
Yeah, so if you, beside the modifier, there's 2 arrows, and if you hit the downward pointing arrow, you'll get to a minus score.
Okay. Roll.
Bam,
Oh,
boxcars.
Uh-oh.
Sorry, Dakota.
So deal harm, and they choke up momentarily before they can react. So how much harm do we think a werewolf does to a puny teenager? 2 or, 3 is like a lot, right? So maybe we'll stick with 2.
Sorry, Evan.
So yeah, so I think, though, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, for Jack, this might hit the condition harm someone you care about.
Yeah, I think that like as this starts happening, I feel like Jack starts to come through, and I think I'm just kind of imagining, like, is it that like I have like my mouth like locked around Dakota's neck,
Yeah,
and that's when I start to like do we want to do another like keep your cool roll here to see like how good I am at like keep taking back control here, or do we just want to say it fictionally?
Yeah, I mean,
I think fictionally works. It's my
fictionally
darkest
works.
self. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like it's the right trigger to get you out of your darkest self.
Yeah, and maybe this is also the moment where Julia starts to like lose, like come back to her own body, so she can have a moment with Evan as well.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that like as like the like I'm wondering what kind of wounds does Dakota have? Like, because you got the 2 harm.
I would think that initially Dakota's arm got mauled, but then you were going for the throat for the kill, and that's when you kind of regained control.
Yeah, and I think it's at that moment where like you start to see the wolf back off a little bit and like release your neck, and there's kind of like a cracking, and like you can see like the bones like shifting and breaking and like melting inside the body to like rearrange into human form, and like the wolf skin kind of like tears off. And if any of this is too much, feel free to just like ask me to veil it. I think that like I tear the wolf skin off, and it's like it's like this, teen human covered in like a bloody afterbirth of like wolf flesh.
And
And
most
I go,
importantly, Jack standing virtually naked on, just above Dakota, right? Which
yeah, I
is
think it's more like I'm kneeling above Dakota,
Okay.
and I say, oh my God, Dakota, I'm sorry. I don't know what I was doing. I didn't want, I don't know what I wanted. I just, I'm sorry that I hurt you. And I kind of am like kneeling over you, like wanting to stay close to protect you, but at the same time realizing that like I've like mauled your arm. And so like, it's like, I don't feel comfortable touching you at the same time.
Dakota can't speak because of the wound to his throat.
I don't think I wounded your throat all that much. I think I just had my mouth locked on it, to
Well,
clarify.
he can't speak because of shock, maybe.
Yeah, okay.
But I'm imagining he reaches out with his non-mauled arm and grabs your hand in a gesture of conciliation, desire, forgiveness.
I mean, are you rolling to turn me
ignoring
on
some
now?
blatant problem with your
Yeah.
lover.
Like, do you like thread your fingers in mine to turn me on? I don't know.
Sure, with the blood.
Look, this is Monsterhearts. This is,
Yes, my vulnerability, my humanity. That's what makes me hot, right?
yeah. I mean,
The-
and this is, I feel like you're hitting
you're
on my
naked.
traumatized right here to turn me on. I feel
Oh,
this
I
is
can-
some trauma bonding right here.
Trauma bonding. Wow.
The other thing I was wondering, Dakota, is when you ran into the woods, do you think you were triggering down the rabbit hole? Right, when you go poking your nose in affairs not meant for your kind, someone involved in this situation gains a string.
I figured I would talk about that a little later.
Okay.
But yeah, I definitely think that move got triggered. This is definitely a rabbit hole.
Yeah. I think someone involved in this situation gets a string on you. I mean, that's kind of up to the table. I would have said earlier on that it might have been Julia, right? Because you're herring off, ignoring her advice as usual, but maybe it's not.
I'm comfortable with Julia getting the string. Yeah,
Sure.
Okay, cool. And you mark
I
experience.
already
as
have a
well.
ton on you, so I feel like that's fair.
you got plenty.
Okay, and I guess we're catching up in terms of that turn on with traumatized. So if you're using a condition and you're also attempting to earn your lover's heart, I think this is a +4, right? So just, I mean, I won't even say it. Once you roll to see how this goes. $14 is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
14.
So you get a string on Jack, and then Jack chooses from the options below.
I think Jack's really confused at the moment, but it's just, there's a lot happening. And I think after a moment of confusion, like it's both like very tender yet very like dark and creepy at the same time, because there is still all this like kind of blood over my face from where I tore through the skin, and I like kind of hesitantly like lean down over you to like kiss you lightly on the lips, and then like it gets really voracious, and I think we maybe fade to black there. And I don't know, do you think we trigger our sex move here, Dakota? Like, I feel like, I mean, I realize Dakota's very badly injured, but I feel like this is like the poor decision that we are both making in this moment. Like, rather than go to the hospital.
It's just going to be you going straight back into wolf form, though. Well, no, not right away.
Yeah, when you leave, Dakota.
Yeah.
when you lose sight of me.
Yeah. Well, I guess we can see. You know, there might be.
Like
We'll
maybe
come back
maybe
around.
that's the thing. Like we go to the hospital afterwards, and then like the moment we separate.
That's when it'll get ugly again.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
but we can wait. I think Donna's asking
Yeah.
us to wait.
Yeah,
Well,
no, I wanted
yeah.
to see what's happening with Julia and Evan as well.
Okay. So yeah, Julia, I guess you end up back in your own body, which feels. How does it feel after having been inside the werewolf that is Jack?
I am so disoriented, which doesn't surprise Evan because I think Evan thinks I'm drunk, which I am not. But I definitely feel as though I might as well be drunk. And so Evan doesn't really seem to think, well, I don't know what Evan thinks. Evan will have to tell me. But yeah, I am just clearly disoriented. I'm like, Evan, what are you doing here? Where am I? And I'm feeling my face to feel the blood, and I don't feel any. It's only my own drool. And so I'm just like kind of shaking my head, like getting clear, like, oh, right, okay, I was inside Jack, who was a wolf. And oh my God, is Dakota all right? Is Jack all right? Is Dakota all right? Yeah, I feel like I've been abruptly pulled out of this very intense situation, and my attention is not really on Evan. It's really on wanting to know what the hell happened after I left. I lost my eyes on that situation, in addition to my lustful attachment. So yeah, I'm pretty disoriented, and I don't really give a fuck about Evan standing there. And so yeah, I'm like, Evan, get out of my way. What are you doing? Why are you kicking me? Quit kicking me.
So Evan crouches down and sees Julia like rubbing her hand on her face like she's looking for the blood. He's like, yeah, you didn't puke on yourself or nothing. You're okay. But what have you been drinking, man? You look like you're really out of it. And he looks in his own solo cup, like longingly, like he wished that he had some of whatever Julia had.
Is this the right time for Julia to have sex with somebody?
I mean, that is completely up to you.
I mean, Evan, wow.
Everybody
Evan would
hates
not have been at the
Evan.
top of my list for predictions and that, but
Dramatic twist.
I mean, you know, yeah, I don't know.
Evan, go ahead, Julie.
Is there something to be gained? Like, so how do I think I don't fully understand how I get experience. And so I'm like, is having sex like something I need to do?
No, XP and Monsterhearts just can come very slowly. You get it when you get a miss, and you get it when a move tells you do, such as when someone spends a string on you. But it's one of those older PBTA games where Miss XP can kind of come a little slowly because there aren't a lot of ins for it.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't have to do with sex necessarily.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Only one or two characters, I think, really get a lot from like kind of becoming involved sexually with other characters.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think what I can see for Julia here is that, you know, she was just in the middle of a very confusing but very lustful situation. And so now here she's actually like back in her own body. And here's Evan like kicking her, but then also saying, I want some of what you had. And she's a little bit like, well, I can give you some of what I had. And so wanting to kind of just use Evan to like release this energy that she just was involved in.
So like, how does Julia make that known to Evan? Like, what move does she make, or what does she say?
Well, Evan, I don't know what was in my cup, but I can sure share with you what I've got.
So Evan is, I think, a little bit confused, but he thinks maybe something's happening. So I think that he's crouching down already. And so he kind of like leans into Julia and he says, "Do you know what's in those woods?"
Why, yes. Why, yes, I do. I do know something about what's in those woods.
And then Evan's going to lean down and try to kiss Julia, I think. So if that happens, that happens.
Okay, and Julia responds positively because Julia is out of her fucking mind. And
There's gonna be some regrets.
Yeah, I know. And I was like, oh, I don't want her to feel regretful. I mean, I don't. Evan probably, I don't know. Evan probably doesn't care too much.
well, yeah, what are the consequences? Does that mean Bria's gonna get me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I mean, you'll
If
just
you have
get a
sex, you don't have
sympathetic
to.
token
You only
on
kissed
Evan,
him so
though.
far.
Yeah. So I mean, the boon for the witch's sex move is you get a sympathetic token from your partner. So that'll pay dividends, right?
But not if Bria has my power.
She doesn't have
Yeah.
your power.
And then, no,
have a
like,
string on you.
she just has her claws in you a little bit, right?
Wait, is this all
Right.
happening like on the grass in front of the house?
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, it seems
They're teenagers
I
at
mean,
the party.
this is a wild party.
It is.
it really is.
I
It is the
mean,
best party ever.
yeah. Evan has just walked
for Evan, for
from
real.
one to the other.
There's a werewolf that ran through here, ripping his clothes off.
This is too funny. Yeah, okay.
Okay,
And Julia kisses back and they keep going.
perfect.
Okay, so let's trigger those sex moves. We know what Evans does. The dark power loses a string on you and gains a string on whoever you had sex with. So
So wait a second. If the dark power has 0 strings on me,
yeah,
what does that mean? Anything?
that means you've got a lot of room to maneuver.
I've got a lot of what?
Room to maneuver, right?
Okay.
You can take a lot of power before things go horribly wrong for you.
Right. Well, now I'm gonna burn it all.
Yeah. And the witches. Do you want to read that out, Max?
After sex, you can take sympathetic token from them. They know all about it and it's cool.
So Evan, what do you leave behind or give
So
Julia or
a sympathetic token is an actual physical item.
yeah.
Okay.
So
Got
something meaningful, right? In that it's able to act as a conduit for magic.
It's a Zippo. It's a Zippo.
Oh, yeah.
I love a lighter.
Yeah, you do.
Okay, cool. And is this like handed over when you're having another joint, or?
Yes,
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if Julia's down to smoke, they're
Yeah.
they're smoking, and he like the joint goes out, halfway through as it happens, and he hands the Zippo to Julia, and she just holds on to it. I think, if that's cool with you, Max.
Sure.
And I think you're like lying there in the grass. It's cold, but somehow it's like the ground isn't really seeping the warmth out of your body like it would in the middle of January or the end of January. Yeah. And I think, something, Julia, something catches your eye out of the side opposite, Evan, and you look over and you can see Bria. She's just lying there as well. And I think, she like takes the joint out of your hand and pulls a drag and like, gives you like a wink, or like, make some kind of odd, terrible noise, right? Like a chuckle or something like that. And then kind of hands you back the joint. And, yeah. Freak Central, Freak City.
Yeah, and I am, nothing shocks me anymore. And I knew there was a connection between Evan and Bria, and I knew that this was going on, and now here it's just fully confirmed, and I'm in bed with it. And so yeah, so I feel a little bit scared of what I've just gotten myself into, and I'm doing my very best not to show it. I'm keeping my cool. So I just take the joint from Bria. I take a big hit off that joint and I blow a little smoke in her face.
And yeah, I mean, I think that the perfect kind of rejoinder for that is that, she kind of just swallows it whole and then like it seeps out her throat wound from where Jack tore her throat out.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, Julia, was any of this trying to shut her down or turn her on? Just out of curiosity.
I think I was trying to take her down a notch. Does that count as shutting down?
Yeah, so I mean, so this is kind of a discussion, right, in terms of the dark power and how fictionally you get the leverage to kind of do a normal move on them.
Okay.
So I would usually say the bar is pretty high, right? But
okay.
But I'm happy to, if we kind of because she has 0 strings on Evan, and I think if Evan wanted to use this kind of moment of weakness in their relationship to make a move, that would work. So yeah, I mean, happy to kind of open that discussion up to the table in terms of like what makes sense right now.
It seems hard since Julia has just she's just got an advantage over Julia, and this is the first real meeting with Dark Power Bria. I think it would be hard for Julia to shut her down at this
That's
moment.
fair. I was just checking in.
Evan maybe because of the 0 strings and such, but I think it would be hard for Julia to do it.
How does that sound, Max?
Yeah, that sounds right. I think I just want to highlight that there's this story about how what Bria wants is to learn her way through the woods. And what is the connection between Julia's woods and this woods at Maria's house? We don't know the answer to that, but that's on my mind.
Yeah. But that is definitely some question we could look to answering next week. Let us cut back to Dakota and Jack, deep inside those woods.
Yeah, do you want us to read off our sex moves?
Yeah, let's see how this goes.
Well, can we pause for 1 second? So
Okay.
It seems like there's 2 possibilities here.
Okay.
One is that the kiss happened, and Dakota is quite wounded. So one possibility is that the kiss happens, this moment of intimacy, and then
Right.
Dakota says something like, "Help me."
That's fair. That's
How
fair.
it hurts, and then we can we can go full on sex and then do the sex moves. It's just I don't want to trigger your darkest self immediately right after you came out of your darkest self. Oh, but it's up to you. It's open to discussion, I guess.
I mean, I'd be fine with that. I was just kind of thinking through, what that would mean. Like I was thinking like, yeah, maybe it would be good that we don't go to the sex move just yet. That's fair.
Okay,
So it
cool.
might be that, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I probably have like, I don't know, like I don't think like Jack is a particularly big guy, but like how big is Dakota?
I think Dakota's on the little side.
I guess yeah. I guess like Jack is kind of like either propping you up or lifting you up entirely to like carry you out of the woods.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I think that might be a good place to wrap for the night. I know we're a little bit early, but I can flag that anyway. Does that sound okay to everyone?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So I will stop the recording and then we'll do stars and wishes.